next two speakers actually down here, Kathy and Sherry, are both avowed devotees of Natalie. And they're both, they say that they don't like public speaking. But because of their love for Natalie, they will talk about what they do. They're actually both very interesting speakers. First up, Kathy Wise from Semper Fi Fund will talk about what they do with fundraising and their organization and stuff like that. So thanks a lot for coming, Kathy.
This is the touchy-feely portion of your day. I am, like you said, I am the Deputy of Community Sports for the Semper Fi Fund, and I have been working with the Semper Fi Fund for 7 years, and with Natalie personally for most of those years. But I'm not an avid runner. I participate in many 5Ks, but that's about as far as I go. But I am an avid supporter of many charitable causes. And specifically, I'm going to talk about the Semper Fi Fund today because this is the basis of most of my examples. So before I get started, I'd like to tell you a little bit about how I came to be part of this organization and how this organization started. So in 2003, my husband was a Marine Corps helicopter pilot, and we were stationed in Quantico, Virginia, and we were so excited because we were at a school. And we had been on active duty assignments where he was deployed on ships and such, but it was peacetime, so there were, long deployments, but just training missions. We were excited to be at school because it was regular hours. He was home by 1 o'clock in the afternoon to study. We were able to have barbecues with friends and see our family, and then the war in Iraq started. I thought, we are safe, we're at school. We have nothing to do with that. That is another world away from us right now. And then the base commander called all of the students into the theater and said, be prepared. This could be you. So we got back in the car after this brief, and my husband said to me, I want to volunteer to go. And at that moment, it was like the most crushing thing because this is what we had dreamed of. He had been in duty stations where literally he was home just a few hours. Our sons were 2 and 3 years old. I couldn't even imagine life without him after what we had been experiencing. End of March comes, they lose the first Huey, and my husband is literally the first person to be called to go to war. Within 4 days, he was gone. I was living in Virginia, no support system whatsoever, and the CO said, do you want to go to California where you could be with the unit that he was attached to? So I packed up the kids by myself, moved to California, and that is where I met the founder of the Semper Fi Fund. Her name is Karen Gunther, and she was a nurse at the Camp Pendleton Hospital. And she was watching the medevacs come in. And she knew that she had to do something, and all of us spouses knew that we had to do something. We wanted to do something. You just can't sit around and watch the news every day and think about what you're not doing. What can I do? So she actually rallied groups of women and started organizing care packages and welcome home parties. But what she quickly realized is they didn't need welcome packages or welcome home parties. They needed support, financial support, and lifelong assistance. And they needed lifetime solutions to this assistance. So that is where I come in and quickly become involved with these ladies. When this organization started, there was 5 women who literally said, let's do this. They put in $100 a piece. They opened a bank account. They quickly started researching what they could do for nonprofits, and they never imagined where this could have gone today. They thought, if we could get through the first phase of the war, that would be amazing. Today, we've already given away over $153 million in assistance. I know. We've helped over 19,000 heroes. We started with the Marine Corps and Navy personnel that were specifically stationed with the Marine Corps, on assignment with the Marine Corps, and have been able, because of the generous donations, to help all branches of service. So we are not Marine Corps specific any longer. So these women could never have imagined where this organization had been today, but they did it with the help of the American people. And so how did they do that? Literally, one of the very first ways they did in fundraising is they went to races. They said, America wants to help. How can we help? How can we get this message out there? And so they quickly organized The Marine Corps Marathon, I believe it was 2005, was the first fundraiser. 3, I believe one was her husband, 2 friends. They started fundraising and saw that they could get the message out there to the American public. By 2007, they had organized injured service members and created a program called Team Semper Fi, which is a recovery through sport. So on my side of the house, we are support through sport. We raise money to help our veterans. And then we have the other side of the house, it's recovery through sport. And Nick, are you in the house? Nick Beach in the back was one of our first in the beginning of Team Semper Fi. So since you chose to be in this breakout, my guess is you either want to add fundraising component to your races or that you already have it and you want to know how to boost those fundraising dollars. So we're going to cover 3 things today. 1 is how to make a personal connection to the mission. 2 is how to fundraise on a small budget. And 3 is how to create an unforgettable experience. And we've heard a lot about these today already, so we're going to hit some different ideas, but some of the same. So what is my why? What is my why? We just heard the presentation about marketing and sponsorship. What is their why? Why do they want to be part of your race? Well, why did you choose to have this charity as part of your race? Did you create this race because you had a direct connection to the nonprofit, or is it something that someone in your family members were affected by, or a team of organizers said, this is important to me and I want to organize a race benefiting this charity? Runners have a why too. There's usually 2 reasons why. 1, it's their only way into the race, which we hope that's not the case. Or 2, they're directly connected to the mission. Unfortunately both. Sometimes that's how it is. So it's our job as the charity to really connect them to the mission. We need them to know their why. And if they don't have a why, we need to connect them to the experiences of what we are fundraising for. We did a campaign, Why I Run, and we asked some of our longtime supporters, why do you run? Tell us. And we made banners that were in our expo booths and had these messages of why they run. It was very forthcoming to hear the stories of people who would come up and tell us, what's their why. The tools that RunSignUp provides are amazing, and in the beginning, I used to say, I have 400 new friends. We have 400 runners, and they're all emailing me questions. Well, why were they emailing me questions? Because we probably didn't provide the right tools at the time for them to be successful. So they would ask me, how do I make an offline donation? How do I compose a letter to my fundraisers? How do I have these things? Well, now we have all those tools set in place. So it's harder for us, but we're going to talk about the customer service experience, to connect with them because everything is so automated. But it's so important to have that conversation and reach out to them. And so we ask that question, how did you come to us? And they'll tell us, in the comment section when they register how they came to us. But we want to know, what's their why? So we, do our very best to find out every person's reason and try to make those 400 or so new friends. So, when a race is charity-based, it enables a community to come together. So I currently live in Oregon, but I'm from a very small town in Michigan. And I was just back there for the 4th of July, and I saw these signs, and it was a RunSignUp race, I'm happy to say. And it was for the Rose Run 5K. So I quickly looked it up to see what it was about, and it had a shield of a police officer, and it was benefiting a police officer named Colin Rose, who was actually from the same small town I was from, many years younger than myself, but he was tragically killed while on duty at Wayne State University, and this event was benefiting him. I don't know how many people were there, but I will tell you that I come from a very small town. According to Wikipedia, only 791 people in the town, so very small, but I do know that the race had approximately the same amount of people that came from that town. So the community came out in droves to support this family. So there's that connection that's so important. We were just talking, I was talking this morning with some gentlemen, and they were talking about how to, boost that number above. Like when you have that, everyone comes out and they're really excited about supporting this family or this cause, or this is the it thing. But what can we do to keep them coming back? And so connecting them to the why and making sure that why doesn't go away and keep connecting them. The change of the Semper Fi Fund, we have changed not necessarily a mission, our mission remains the same, but the needs are different. The needs of the critically ill and injured that came in 2003, 4, 5, those were much different than the needs of our service members today. So it's just continuing to connect people to what the need is. So why are you doing this? So we are very proud to say that we have an A+ charity rating that we, for many years, maintained 4%. We are up to 6%, but we can honestly say that our money is going back to our service members. Americans are philanthropic, but they want to know that their money is going where it's supposed to go. They don't want it to go in the pockets of the organizers. They want to make sure that it's being given back. So for fundraising, now mind you, we have 2 races, Marine Corps Marathon and our own race, Beat the Bridge, which we do seek sponsorship for, but all of the other races, we project our income based on what we set the fundraising minimum at, and then we budget 2 to 4% is all we spend on our expenses for that event. Apparel. I love talking, you were talking about apparel earlier, and I see Sunfrog is in the room. Apparel is so important for us because apparel is our advertising. These images right here, this one is off the VA website. We didn't do anything to make that happen. That was there. These 2 images up there, they were literally, I had someone text them to me. They were walking through Crystal City in the underground in Crystal City in DC, and these were what sparks you and spark activity in the DC area. You can see our Semper Fi Fund shirt coming and going. So that is so important, and truly we talked about apparel, like I want to make sure that people are wearing them well beyond race day. Give them quality products that they are going to wear. And simple, something that you can see from really far. This image on the left was on the front of the Boston Herald. This is one of our service members, Jose Sanchez, running the Boston Marathon. It went viral like nobody's business. Our image was everywhere. So important. So that is the majority of where our budget goes. We limit printing. We do a mass printing at the beginning of the year. We have all of our races on one race card. That is our main printing cost. We keep printing as low as possible, and we use social media and use all of the tools that we heard about earlier this morning. Using those Facebook tools, using closed groups, open groups, spreading messages based on target marketing. So that is one area that we really keep down. We don't need to use that anymore. Utilize the skills, businesses, and participants. So we have a really amazing, and that is always something we like to ask on our Facebook page and such, is do you have a business that you would like us to highlight? What can we do for you, right? That we heard that already. Not, I can do this for you, but no, what can we do for you? What can we do to help you? We have one gentleman who creates these shadow boxes every year and presents them to our sponsors. They are, I don't even know how much they would cost to have them made. We have people who have scrapbooking business who's made die cuts. I'll show you some pictures of some things that they've made. It's amazing ways to promote their business, to help you, and to make them part of your family, to make them part of your team, inclusive. Okay, so create and provide resources. I think these are pretty simple. Most of you probably have these in place. If you have a charity portion, fundraising kits gives them the instructions that they can refer to at any time. We can attach these things or these resources on RunSignUp. We now have the check donation form that we have right on RunSignUp. Anyone can go there and find that. It's very simple. We don't have to email them anymore. They provided the tools for that. That's wonderful. Sample letters to write thank yous, to seek the donations. We do monthly newsletters. Newsletters are so important for us because this is where we highlight the hero stories. We tell, where did your money go to? Maybe it's some simple thing that connects them to the mission of the fund, something that they've never heard of before. I'm going to use Natalie as an example. So we had a pasta dinner, and Natalie was able to come a few years ago, and one of our service members spoke, and he talked about the fact that the Semper Fi Fund, or I think it was his wife, had provided a water softener. We aren't able to tell you every single thing that we do because there are so many quality of life solutions. That is our mission, is quality of life solutions for these service members. hearing it directly from the service members or reading the stories, that's how they're going to connect. Again, why are they running for us? Because it might make a difference to know that we have a dog program. Maybe you're passionate about dogs. We do a dog training program. We have a horsemanship program. So these are things that they can learn from our newsletters and our hero stories. Now to the part that most of you are probably interested in. Utilize the tools RunSignUp provides. Automated fundraising page. We don't give them an option. Obviously, this is probably different than some of your races where you are giving them an option, but we don't give them an option. We automatically create it for them. Sometimes, whether they use them or not, that's up to them, but most of our events have a fundraising component that's required, so it's automatically set up for them. We've set up the message for them. We've imported pictures for them. It's necessary for us to have the automated fundraising page. Target email marketing. We also heard about this earlier today. Reaching out to our past participants, not just last year's participants, but participants from other races, different locations. So we send out those messages. Our new favorite, refunds. Fundraising. So I will tell you that for the Marine Corps Marathon this year, we're requiring, it was a $160 registration fee. Then we asked you to raise $600. Once you reached $1,000, we will refund your registration fee. Over 10%, Natalie? Is that what we figured? Over 10% have already taken advantage of that refund. And there's still 4 months of registration, exactly. So we still have a long ways to go. So a really good rate on return for fundraising, and those people who have already reached that $1,000 threshold, they're going to keep going. It is going to motivate them to go. One person said, don't refund my money, and then she's like, it was already automatically refunded, and she's put it already back into it. So it's.
Do you guys do something like the pumpkin run, where like if they get to say $2,000, they get a special jacket or something like that? We do recognition. We don't necessarily do tiered gifts, but we do recognition of our top fundraising teams. Referrals. I haven't used the referral program, but I'm super excited to do it. I've talked with Natalie, and I'm definitely planning on using it. The numbers that we heard this morning from Eric were just amazing. So if we say we want someone to to refer 5 people, not many people are going to actually get 5 people, but they might get 4. And even if they do get 5, what is the rate of return? It's huge. What did he say? 136% or something like that? 1,000%, right? So we're definitely going to implement the referral system for our future races. I'm very excited to utilize that. Custom registration notification email. Personalize the email. This is your first impression. This is your direct message. You want to speak to them, not with just facts about what's going to happen. You want to have that message. Include the information regarding matching gifts. We briefly touched on that, I think, upstairs this morning. That is so huge. It's right there. Not many people think about matching gifts, but most companies offer it. So that is your chance to make that first impression and to let them know some things that they should be doing. Discount coupons. Discount coupons, we have used that for an expo for a weekend. We went to, I keep using Marine Corps. We do a lot of other races, I swear. We did go to the Marine Corps Historic Half, and for that weekend we did a discount coupon. If you signed up at the expo, you got an additional 10% off. So they're there. Utilize them. Even if they didn't get a chance to do it that weekend, now they're interested, they're going to check it out. I love the new option where they started to register and didn't finish, and sends them a message to have them continue. So the discount coupon is huge. Reporting for mini fundraising challenges. So we are lucky enough to receive sometimes random donations. We had a donation, someone from the Four Seasons said, I really want to have someone come stay at the Four Seasons. So we used that as a prize. I said, would you mind if we use that as a fundraising incentive? They said, absolutely. So we set up a 1 week. We gave them 7 days and said, who wants to stay at the Four Seasons after the marathon? I mean, after the marathon, wouldn't you want to stay at the Four Seasons? I would want to stay at the Four Seasons. So have that pampering experience. So we said everyone who raises $500 in this time period gets a ticket into the raffle. And we did a raffle for the Four Seasons stay. You can do many different fundraising challenges. One of the best things that we can offer is an experience. So charities obviously have different missions and what your mission is. Our mission
These are people who can actually spend time with them, and that's what people want. They want the interaction of spending time with our service members. They want the direct connection to what their money is going for. So we can say, you can sit at this VIP table with some service members, or you can have lunch or breakfast with them, or you get to ride the team bus over to the start of the race. Those are experiences that cost us zero money, but they are opportunities that are priceless. Focus on the experience. So last night I went to my room and I opened that accordion pamphlet. It was so great. I felt like this is like my speech in one little accordion piece. I love it. But one of the things it talks about is how millennials are looking for an experience. So our average fundraisers are well over 40 years old. Those are the ones who are giving back financially. We have to focus on the younger market and how can we connect them. It's not as easy for this age generation. I mean, they haven't experienced the war. They were young when that was happening. Afghanistan was happening, but it's almost like, for many that I talked to in that age group, like it was just on TV. You know, only 10% of Americans have an affiliation with the military. How do I connect with the other 90%? So giving them superior customer service, again, talking to them, making that relationship, as much as you can have that personal connection is so important. Ambassador program, we talked about that at lunch. Ambassador program to us is something I think different. We don't base our ambassador program on referrals. We base it on years of with our charity. So if they have been with the charity for 5 years, we can talk to them about maybe answering. They have the knowledge to say on Facebook if someone's asking a question and we don't get to it right in time, giving that guidance or talking about different running groups in their areas. So we look at ambassadors as a different way than necessarily referrals, but we absolutely look at the referrals as well. We have one athlete from the Boston area, and I think she's brought in over the years, around 60 people to the Semper Fi Fund. So she's pretty amazing. Team celebration, pre and post. We always, no matter the size, I mean, I've done them with 10, I've done them with hundreds, do a pre-race celebration. We get them together for a pasta dinner or a luncheon, something of that nature. Hopefully it's at very little cost or no cost at all. We work with local restaurants in the area and see if we can host our team. And we recognize our service members and our fundraisers. It's an opportunity for them to closely interact. We did an event, it was a New York City triathlon, and it was last summer. We had, we've done it I think for 3 summers, but we had a small group together, and watching these total strangers cross the finish line together with the people they had just met the day before was amazing. I just have some of the greatest pictures, and they just thanked us so much for the opportunity to work together with these service members on completing this event. So it's wonderful. Post-race, it's funny that he showed Big Sur earlier. I think Big Sur is one of the only ones where we don't have a post-race. Most of the time, and if you don't have this at your race, charities would thank you very much. Even just a simple area for charities to set up where their runners can come. You know, sometimes it's at a cost, sometimes it's not. We will, 9 times out of 10, we're going to take advantage of that opportunity to pitch a 10 by 10 tent or a 24 by 60 tent. We don't discriminate on the size. We'll take anything if it's a chance for our athletes to come together after the race and celebrate. It is a time for celebration. Interact with those who are benefiting from the fund. So I already touched on that a little bit. Having any opportunities for them to interact with the people who are benefiting from the money that you're raising. Public recognition, we also talked about that. We do top fundraising prizes. I love that on RunSignUp. We have very competitive people who are always watching by the dollar, and they're like, I'm in the lead, I'm in the lead. And so it quickly can change, but they love watching that. Special acknowledgement of longtime supporters, ambassador programs, special gifts, special recognition, coming back. We actually, the past couple of years, have selected some community athletes to have a chance to speak and tell their story and how they came to the Semper Fi Fund and why they continue to come to the Semper Fi Fund to encourage longtime supporters. Team fundraising competition, again, love that. Love the competition. We have ROTC units, that's really fun. So they love the team competition. To share that, we have obviously our big team competition with our general fundraisers, and then we have our military competition as well for some of our races. So the units like that. And everything is more fun with friends.
The bullet point about interaction with those who are benefiting from fundraising. You know, you have 19,000 people. How do you engage them, and how do you say, hey, could you fundraise for us, or get your friends to fundraise for us? Like, what's the ask there?
So we have opportunities for Team Semper Fi. We work together and have our events together. So it's the support through sport and the recovery through sport. We never want to participate in an event where we can't have our service members there, because that is the why. Why are we doing this, right? So if we don't have that direct connection or that experience, the likelihood of them coming back is not very great. The only reason they're probably going to come back is because they needed to get back in the race, right? So I think an answer to your question is just every opportunity that we can to interact, or to have the groups interact with one another, and not just be fundraisers and not just looking at them for support. And maybe you are fundraising for something that doesn't have actual people that are benefiting from it. Maybe it's something bigger, but having, obviously the money is going somewhere, having someone who is doing something directly with that money or benefiting from that money to be present and interact. So
at their pasta dinner, they how many tables?
So we have like I said, we have many events, so don't think that all of our events are so huge. We have many events that are 10, 15, 20 people, but then we have the Marine Corps Marathon, which is our premier event of the year, and we host a dinner for 600 plus people, and we have service members at each table, and then we select service members to get up and speak about their experience. And so even if you didn't have a chance to talk with that person directly, you were able to hear what the Semper Fi Fund has done for them. So have that direct connection. So these are some things that, like I said, didn't necessarily cost much. This is how the Boston Marathon, General Dunford, Joint Chief of Staff, made an appearance, stopped by. It was literally, we found out he was running, friends of him stopped by. And so that was an experience. I literally had people just calling me crying. That was like the greatest experience ever. It cost no money. It was just a simple ask, and he was happy to come by. This is at our pasta dinner. This is actually the person that I spoke about earlier, who benefited from the water softener. He was a severe burn victim, and his wife was talking about the things that they have done for the family. So they were able to hear that. This here was something fun. The map filled up. This is the beginning, but we had this map, very little cost in creating that map. And then we had, like I said, the scrapbook person. She created these die cuts, and we were able to put them on there. The runners had a fun time with that. It was a fun experience, something that cost no money. Simple whiteboard, writing messages. These are just things that cost little to no money, but it's interactive. I bought our bulldog costume after Halloween on Halloween Express, and we've had so much fun with it. The bulldog ended up being in a mascot run, and we've had a lot of fun with the bulldog, but little to no cost to the fund. So just keeping those fundraising dollars low, but still providing an unforgettable experience. I am going to end today with a video that brings together all of the things I've talked about today. What is your why? Briefly talks about fundraising on a budget and providing the experience.
I was talking to some of the guys, and they said, Patty, you need to do this next year. I said, I can't do that. And this one guy goes, well, Patty, if I can do it, you can do it. And I said, Eric, you're a Marine. One of his friends goes, Patty, he's got one leg. So I'm like, all right, if these guys can do it on one leg, who am I to not do it on two?
Semper Fi Fund provides immediate financial support for injured, ill, and wounded service members of all branches.
Their overhead is so low, 94% goes directly to the Marines and their families. It's just an incredible support system.
The best part of the training that I've been through to run for this marathon has been the fundraising. I've raised over $3,000. My son was injured in May of 2006, and the Semper Fi Fund supported me every month so that I could still pay my bills and not lose my home. Knowing how much that helped me, it makes me want to fundraise even more so that I can then help another mom.
goes to show that there are those in this country that really care for our veterans, and we don't leave anybody behind.
We all like to feel proud of ourselves. We all want to feel like we've accomplished something, and there's not a better way to do it than going out and doing these events.
There's going to be an obstacle that's going to really bring your spirits down. You need something to lift it back up. And if I can be that person that lifts somebody back up, then that's what I want to be.
Hopefully that you've seen in this message or in this video, we had fundraisers telling about why they fundraised, what it meant to fundraise. And I loved when she said the best part of this experience has been the fundraising. That's what she wanted to do. She wanted to give back. We had service members on there talking about their experience. So with that being said, hopefully you are now all thinking about what you can do to create and deliver the experience that connects your runners to your mission. By using the narratives of your participants and recipients, I am confident that people will come together to support your cause and consider giving to your organization in honor.